Hey guys, it's Chris here. Just wanted to bring you guys a quick video. I was given some birds that looks like they're in some pretty poor health. So we're gonna hopefully try and see if we can bring them back into health. Sorry, the lighting's not the greatest. The sun was just barely out, so we could see the birds really well, and then it just went behind some clouds. It's a little cloudy today, but thought we'd let you see the aviary. Thought we'd let you see the aviary. Birds are enjoying being outside, getting some sun now that it's starting to warm up a little bit. Got my turquoisine parakeet down there playing on the ground, enjoying some food. So got Goldians over there on the far aviary that are molting out. My two baby Javas are molting out. I did look in my nest box if you guys saw my last video, and I do have 4 Java chicks currently in the nest. Looks like they range from about 5 to 3 days old. So excited about that. Hopefully we'll keep them alive. And that is from a different pair from the pair that had fledged my other 2 Javas. So hopefully that'll be good for us. Get us a few babies in there. We'll make sure we get them banded so we know whose is who. And then we'll make sure that we incorporate them into the breeding program. And the ones that we don't breed, we'll probably sell off to some other breeders. So I'm going to be doing some more in-depth videos of my Java finches. So we'll hopefully you guys can look forward to that. I have looked on YouTube to see if I can find any videos on Javas, and the only ones that I can really find are in a different language, and I don't understand a word they're saying. So hopefully we can bring some videos in English for you guys if any of you are interested in breeding Javas. So hopefully we'll get that. That'll help us out. So we do have here, bringing you guys to the point of the video. So I was given 2 Canaries, a male and female, and 3 male Golden finches that are in some pretty rough shape. One looks definitely older. The other 2 just look like they just need a little bit of maintenance, beak trimming, nail trimming. Looks like they're definitely lacking some minerals and vitamins. Stuck in molt, or they haven't molted in the last couple years. So hopefully we can help them out and get them to grow their feathers back for us. So they were in a house. I do have them outside. I just barely got home with them. So I will definitely have these guys in quarantine for a little bit longer, just to make sure that nothing's happening. Make sure they don't have any underlying diseases. So I definitely, the first thing I'm going to do is put Scat on them for mites. Oh, hi, sweetie. Sorry, it's my daughter. Put Scat on them, make sure that they don't have any mites. After I do a round of Scat, probably a week or so after, I will start S76 on them. Give that to them for a few weeks, just to make sure they don't have any mites. That can be one cause of baldness in Golden finches especially. So just to make sure we're good there. The Canaries look like they're in pretty decent health. She said that the one in the back is crested is a male. I have not heard it sing, and she says it hasn't sung in a while. So we'll double check that, make sure. Then the hen right there, she has a red factor. Oh, you okay? You want me to kiss it better? Yeah. Okay. Mwah. There we go. Got to kiss the owies on the fingers better for the kids. So yeah, so the female, she's a red factor. I actually looked at her rump. Looks like she's getting ready to breed, getting pretty close. So we'll see how she is. They definitely, like I said, are in better health and shape than the Golden finches are. Some things that we'll work on with the Golden finches, after we'll get them scatted, make sure that we're good on mites. I'll add a little bit to their diet. They haven't really received egg food for a long time, or any of those nutrients. The seed diet was like a parakeet seed So we'll definitely change their seed diet, give them a good variety. Hopefully that'll help them out nutrition-wise as well. And get some calcium supplements in there for them to hopefully make them want to go into a molt. So all my Goldens are molting right now into their either their adult feathers or their yearly molt. So I'm hoping that that will encourage these guys as well to molt a little bit as well. And so you can see the one on the far left, he's got most of his head is bald. He has an orange head. And then I do have a red head there. It looks like it's all molted out, but looks like it hasn't molted in at least a year or two. His feathers are pretty rough. And then on the far right, we've got a blue head or a blue back. It looks like it's a redhead blue back, but as well, its top feathers and not all of its breast feathers have molted out either. And she said she's had them for a few years. So definitely not a good sign. So we'll make sure that we definitely make sure that we keep them quarantined from the other birds. I just want to make sure that they're all checked out properly health-wise and we have no issues there. So we do have the male canary up there. Hoping he's got a pretty cool little crest on there. I wouldn't mind getting some crested babies or starting that. I do have one of my female canaries. She's a variegated yellow and brown as well, and so I'll probably end up putting him with her down the road. And then this female that's a red factor, I will put her with my male red factor that has babies right now as well. So we definitely have some good potential with these guys, some good possibilities. So the breeder, thankfully, you know, reached out to me and just said, you know, due to health concerns, and she was concerned for the birds that maybe she wasn't providing the proper health for them, and so that's why she had reached out to me, just making sure that everything was okay that way. So maybe once I get them into the bird room and get them into their quarantine cages, maybe I'll show you guys what I do to trim the nails and the beak, help you guys out a little bit that way. I haven't done any videos as far as that goes, and trimming beaks and nails and that sort of thing. So maybe that'd be a good video to add on to the end of this one and show you guys and show you what I do when I scat them and that sort of thing. So we'll get to that point and get back to you guys. So if you have any questions on the new birds, maybe proper health care or anything like that, leave some comments below. Hopefully it'll give you guys a good progression of what I'm going to do with the Goldien finches. Hopefully we'll get them to molt out properly, and who knows, maybe next year we'll be able to incorporate them into the breeding program. We'll see kind of where they're at health wise. That orange head one on the far left looks to be fairly old, just by looks, and you can't really tell the age, but lots of times they look a little bit more ragged. Feathers are ragged, their beaks aren't as clean, their toes aren't as orange or vibrant. Some of the signs that you can tell from age, but that also can be a little bit confusing because you can mix that up with poor health too. So we'll see what we can do, what we can do for these birds and get them going, get them back up to health, and hopefully eventually down the road get them incorporated into the breeding program. So we'll see what happens. All right guys, this is Chris here, back with you guys, following up on the video with the new birds that I have. So I have selected, got a cage down here on the bottom, so I'm going to throw my Goldien finches in there, and then I'm probably just going to leave the 2 canaries in there for the next couple days, so I can figure out where I can put them next. I do have this whole bottom cage right here empty, but you can see it's really dark down there. I don't have a whole lot of light that gets there, so not quite sure I want to put anything down there. So we'll figure out a way to, even if I split this one and do canaries on this side and Goldiens on that side. I do have my one shaft tail hen there that had hurt her wing, so I'll move her up. I'll probably move her up into here, split that cage, let her sit there. She's getting better, she's almost done, so hopefully we'll be able to take her out. So after, you know, on a closer look, the Goldiens, definitely, this one's the worst one. You can see that it's got an overgrown beak. You can see how it's called scissor beak there. He is pretty thin. I can feel his breast bar there. And then he's got some really long toenails. So we're gonna clip the toenails, trim the beak down, and we'll put him in the cage. And I'll show you some of the products that I'm gonna be using here to help this little guy out. Hopefully we'll be able to nurse him back to health, you know, get him nice strong. I think he's a little thin just because his beaks is so bad he probably can't eat very much. So we're gonna put it down. I have some nail clippers here, some fingernail clippers. I am gonna scat them. So you can see I do have my scat right here. I have my Q-tips. So I'm just gonna get this Q-tip, I'm gonna dip it in the scat, get it wet, and then I'm gonna put it on his thigh right there. So we'll do all that, show you guys what I do there, clip the nails, the beak. I have a little holder that I'm gonna put my phone on, so hopefully it works for you guys. If it doesn't, I apologize. You guys know, if you guys have followed me for a while, you know that I don't have any phone stands or anything like that. You know, I'm pretty old school. So we'll throw it on here, see what we can do. Hopefully we can get some good footage for you guys on how to trim this beak and also the toenails. So let's try this out here. So hope you guys can still see it. We've got the bird here. We're gonna grab our fingernails, or our finger toenail clippers, whatever you say. So what I do is I grab the bird here, I outstretch its leg gently so you don't want to hurt it, and then I pinch its leg in between my fingers like that. So that holds the bird, or the foot out, and then I can clip the toenail. So lots of people get nervous on clipping their toenails because they don't want to clip it too short, because if you do, it'll bleed. So I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but if you look at the toenails, you can kind of see the blood vein that goes into the toenail, and then it stops, and then the rest of the toenail is just white. So that part's dead. It doesn't have any blood flow to it, so you can clip that, and it won't injure the bird. It won't even feel it. It's just like clipping your fingernails. So you can see there, hopefully it's focusing for you. The bloodline stops about halfway through, so I'm going to cut the nail about halfway, and we'll do that for all this foot and then his other foot here. So we'll get it in here. Make sure you only clip one at a time. Do about halfway. See how I got that about, it was a little bit less than half, so he still got about 3/4 of his toenail. Then we're gonna do that there for his thumb toenail. And if they kind of shake like that, it's okay. It doesn't hurt him. I didn't cut to the blood supply. He's okay. He probably just hasn't ever had his toenails clipped, so. Okay, so we got that one clipped. Now we're gonna extend his other foot like that. I'm gonna hold it in between my fingers there. Make sure you get a gentle, firm or hold on the body, so when he squirms like he did before, he doesn't get loose. So again, we're gonna cut at least 1/4 of that toenail off. Some of them are longer than others and need more trimming. Others look okay. Okay, so we got the toenails clipped. You can look right there, look nice. Now, one of the benefits of clipping the toenails is they don't get caught in the wires. They or get caught in any nest box. They can actually land on a perch and sit properly. It helps to exercise their foot better. When their toenails are long, they can get in the way. It makes them a little bit uncomfortable, and they sit funky. So we're gonna try and get this beak. He does have a pretty good scissor beak here. It is important when you trim the beak that you want to try and trim along the line, so it gives them still a good uniform beak. You don't want to cut it too much to one side. You know, I want him to be able to eat seeds. Also, if you cut it poorly, you're gonna try and bite me here. Oh look, so he bit me and it broke off the tip of that beak. So I might not have to trim his beak much more. Let's look. Still off to the side a little bit. Just want to try and get it so when he closes his beak, it closes properly. Like that. Let's look. So that's nice. So when you look at it now, he's got a nice, see now he can bite me good because his beak's not scissor crossed like it was before. And that also will help him to be able to eat his seeds properly and not have any issues. So he looks pretty good. Might just clip a little bit more. Just right on the very end if we can get the clippers on it. A little bit better. Okay, so we're good there. So we'll put him in. Like I said, he is a little skinny. I can feel his breast bar. So hopefully with trimming of the beak, we'll get him a good diet and nutrition. Hopefully he'll fatten up a little bit for us this year. And I'll show you some of the medications that I'm going to use just to make sure he doesn't have you know, any issues or anything wrong with him that's causing him to be thin. So we're going to grab him. We'll throw him in the cage. Okay, just got him in the cage there, sitting on the perch nice. He's curious, got some fresh water and food in there for him. We'll do the same for the other two Goldians. I won't film that just for the sake of time, but oh crap, you know what I didn't do, guys? I didn't give him some Scat, so I'm gonna have to recatch him and I'll put some Scat on him. And like I said, you know, I just dip this in there, get it nice and moist. And then I pull the bird's leg out and hold it in between my fingers like I showed you earlier. And then with the other hand, I rub this all along the inner thigh. Make sure it's pretty good and wet. And what it does is when that thigh's wet, it causes the bird to preen itself down there, and it gets that Scat into its bloodstream through the skin and also through its mouth. So I have had a lot of comments of people question Scat. Scat is pretty potent. You don't want to do too much because it can kill your bird. And I think what people get confused on is it's not so much necessarily that the solution kills your bird, but what it does is it kills the mites that are within your bird. And if your bird is heavily infected with mites, what's going to happen is it's going to kill all those mites off so quickly that they're basically going to pile up in the bird's lungs and the bird's airway, and it's going to basically suffocate itself because it has all these dead mites within it. I know that sounds pretty gory, but that's the truth. That's what happens when they die. So it is important to not medicate them a whole lot with the Scat. You don't want to, if they are heavily infected, you don't want to kill them all off at the same time. And it is important if your bird is heavily infected. Some signs are, you know, gaping open mouth. You can hear clicking when the bird's breathing. The bird has lost its vocals. Those are all signs of mites. And sometimes I have found it beneficial that when I do give this, I provide some heat there for the birds in the cage, and that just allows them to be more comfortable, open their airways up a little bit more and help them out. And so that's why I use Scat, and I also use S76, because S76 is not as potent and it's a water soluble. So I use S76 throughout the year to keep the mites at bay. You're never really ever gonna truly get rid of mites, but it keeps them at bay and keeps your bird healthy. And then before I put birds in the breeding cages like this, I'll Scat them and put them to breed. And what it does is, because they have minimal mites, the Scat very rarely is lethal to my birds because they don't have as many mites. And so that's just one thing to look. I know people get worried about using Scat, and that's kind of the reason why it can hurt your birds, is because it kills off the mites quickly and can block their airways. So a little bit of both Scat, S76. I just ordered some, I believe it's called Iverlux. That's also to treat mites. I'm going to try that out, and I actually put that on my website. So if you guys want to go on my website, check it out, buy a bottle, try it. I have heard good reviews from it. So that's probably what I'm going to try next, is that, and it's similar to the Scat. So we're going to catch him real quick, make sure he gets scatted up, and then we'll catch the rest of the birds, put them in there. In a few weeks, I'll give you a good update on the birds, show you how they're doing and their well-being, and hopefully the Goldians have started to molt. Hopefully they're getting healthy. They're getting some good nutrients in them and some good vibes. So hopefully this will work out, and come next year, at least for the Goldians, we'll have them in the breeding program. The Canaries look pretty good, actually. We still will Scat them. I'll still give them some quarantine. Couple other things that I will be doing. I do have some Feather Fast, so I will be giving this to the Goldians later on. If my birds have any sort of protozoal infection, let's see if that will zoom in there for you, or focus. Come on now. It's not going to do it, is it? I don't know what the dealio is here. There we go. So I do feed Ronex to the birds if they have any protozoal infections, Giardia, that sort of thing. This is basically the same thing. So I do have that. So if my Goldian finches are not putting on weight like they should in a few weeks, I will treat them on a round of that. Sorry, I just hit my phone. I will give them a treatment of that. I also have just some basic vitamins that you can get at really any pet store. They all should have them, or online on Amazon. And I also will give them a treatment of worms. They were inside, so I don't think they have worms, but just to be safe, we'll give them some worm treatments, and that's just a one-time treatment. So, and then hopefully we can put them out there. So this is my gal that I'm hoping to pair her up with the crested canary down there. That will be down the road, obviously, because we need to get them good and going. So we definitely could have some positive things come out of this, and hopefully we can walk you through the steps of bringing your birds back to health. So appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully this was enjoyable and some good information for you guys. Appreciate your support. Hope your birds are doing good. We'll see you next time.